Good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. It's September 23rd, a beautiful day out in the Pacific Northwest. I'm out here in my orchard and it feels really nice to sit out in the sun, especially this time of year when it's not scorching hot, but it's pleasant. I got my Fuji early Fuji apples right behind me. I've tasted those before, so I'm not gonna taste those in this video, but I do have the Fuji Aztec over here, which is a different variant of the Fuji line, and this is a big one. This was actually the only apple that I had. It was a recent graft. Coming from this side, we have Liberty, Fuji Aztec. This is Modi. It's very similar to CrimsonCrisp, which is next in line. This is a Golden Delicious that I picked at Chris Homanic's place yesterday. I'm gonna taste this one here on camera. This one here is Jazz. These are all picked from my orchard. I hope all these are ripe. I don't know which ones are fully ripe, which ones are at their peak. Well, we'll just have to taste them and see what they taste like. This one here is most likely Canadian strawberry. However, I'm not certain because it fell off the tree, but it was right under the branch that was grafted and that was labeled Canadian strawberry. So I hope this is it, as I've been waiting to try it and all the apples fell off the branch, and I didn't really get a chance to confirm that this is indeed Canadian strawberry, but I think this is, so we'll taste it. Both of these are rescue pears. I picked this one a little earlier and I let it ripen on the counter. This one ripened on the tree, so we'll see what the difference is between tree ripened and ripened on the counter for pears, because pears technically are supposed to be ripened off the tree for most varieties, but it also depends on variety. This is a Cummus Pear that was picked about 2 weeks earlier. Oh, here comes the train. Perfect timing. Anyway, Cummus Pear. I have some Asian pears here. This is Husui and sekui. And then a couple more European pears. This is red barlet. Red barlet. And both of those fell off the tree, so I'm assuming they're ripe, and one of them is already being eaten by a slug, so I'm pretty sure it's ripe. So I'll taste all these and we'll see what the qualities are. All right, let's try this. A Liberty on the right side. The tree doesn't get bothered by very many diseases. It's an extremely immune tree. If you want to plant an apple tree and not worry about spraying it, not worry about insects too much, it doesn't get very many wormholes. It's just a really nice apple to grow in terms of maintenance free, and also a really good tasting apple in my opinion. The sun's directly in my eyes here. I set up the table a little bit wrong, but that's okay. We'll go with it. Very crunchy. Has a really good apple flavor. Has sugar, not very high in acid, but a good balance. A really well-balanced apple, I'd say. I'd say a little bit more acidic, slightly more than Honeycrisp, but I like that. I think I'll give this apple like a 8.5 or a 9 on my scale. And I like crunchy apples. And I like intense flavors in apples, but I'm okay with mildly flavored apples. but there has to be something about them that makes me want to continue eating them. And there are a few out there that are mild, but they're just either crunchy or they're pleasant enough that you want to keep eating them. That's what I'm looking for in an apple. This next one is a big one. This is the only one I had hanging on the tree. This is a Fuji Aztec. Compared to the Avil early Fuji, which is over here. Here, I'll pick one. This is an Avil early Fuji. They could probably get a little bit bigger if I thinned a little more, because these were loaded on this tree right behind me. They were just completely loaded. So they're a little bit smaller. They could probably get to the same size as Aztec, but probably still gonna be smaller. So I'm not gonna taste this one because I've tasted it before. It's a little bit on the softer side, not as crunchy as I had hoped this year. Oh, what the heck, I'll take a bite. Very low in acid. Not very crunchy, but it has a little bit of crunch to it. Not as crunchy as I like, but a good Fuji flavor if you like Fuji apples. I sent this apple to some of my friends. My parents really love this apple, and my cousin really loves this. My cousin's parents like it. A really good apple if somebody doesn't like acidic apples. If you like Honey Crisp, or if you like Fuji apples, Avil Early Fuji is a good one. Now this is Fuji Aztec. Hopefully it's ripe. Not quite ripe. You can see the flesh is a little bit greenish inside. So not fully ripe, but the flavors are already pretty good. It's really juicy. It's not as intensely flavored as the Avil Early Fuji because it's not as ripe, I think. So at this stage, I'd probably give this apple maybe like a 7. If I let this sit and ripen fully, it could probably get some better flavors, but it's not bad. It's pretty good at this stage. Here's Modi. This is supposed to be a immune apple to many diseases. They do get insect bites and some sort of problem here that they had a couple other apples on the tree that started rotting. So I don't know what the issue is. This variety is from Ukraine, so it does do really well there, and it's immune to many diseases out there. But here it seems to be rotting on the tree, so I don't know what the issue is over here. But here's one of the ones that was somewhat decent, so let's taste it. Wow. It's sweet, moderate acidity. It's crunchy, really pleasant. Nice dessert apple. Some of the red from the skin seeps into the flesh a little bit, but this is really crunchy. This is what I like in an apple. In terms of flavor, I'll give this like a 9. Really good. Delicious apple. So this next one is CrimsonCrisp, and it's very similar to Modi in looks. So let's see how it compares with taste. Trying it right after Modi. The flesh is a little bit yellower in CrimsonCrisp. A little more yellow. It's even more firm than Modi is at this stage. Really firm apple. Very crunchy. Very concentrated in flavors. This apple will probably keep for well over the winter in cold storage. I would give this like a 9.5. CrimsonCrisp. Really good. Now this one is Golden Delicious. Picked this off of Chris Hamanic's tree. It has a little bit of scab, a little bit of dents in the apple, but they taste really good. I tasted them yesterday. It's not as crisp as CrimsonCrisp or Modi, but the flavors are really good. It's a well-balanced apple. It's not quite as concentrated as CrimsonCrisp either, but it's a really pleasant apple to eat. Really good. These wasps have found my operation. A really good apple. I'd give this maybe 8. This is Jazz. It gets a little bit of scab and some insect pressure. Let's see what it tastes like. Tastes like it has a lot of sugar. It's crunchy, moderate acidity. It'd probably benefit from keeping a little bit. The flesh is still slightly green, so maybe not fully, it's technically ripe, but it's not fully ripe probably until it keeps for a little bit. Really good. I think I'd give this like an 8. Good balance of sugars and acids. Now let's try, oh, we have this Canadian strawberry, maybe. It fell off the tree and it's soft and mealy. Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick up the flavors when it's mealy like that. It's not a very acidic apple, but it does have a good amount of sugar. But it's not very pleasant to eat because it got soft, so I probably should have picked it off the tree. So probably like a 4 for this particular apple. Here's the Rescue Pear. Rescue Pear doesn't get bothered by too many diseases. The pears look pretty nice. I don't spray my orchard with anything. So this one didn't fully ripen. The first one I picked was a lot better, and it was probably like, I'd say like an 8. This one's not as sweet, not quite ripe yet. Let's try this other one. I'm also trying them right after all these sweet apples. So technically pears are supposed to be sweeter, but for some reason these taste very bland right after all the apples. So yeah, the rescue pear tastes really bland right after tasting all the apples. When I tasted one early morning before eating any other fruits, it tasted really good. So I don't know, from day to day, I guess your taste buds vary. This one is Cummus Pear. Not ripe. So I can't judge that one. Completely underripe. This is Husui, one of my favorite Asian pears. There we go. Really sweet, really low in acid. I don't mind pears that are lower in acid. For some reason I like apples with slightly more acidity, but a pear, in my opinion, tastes really good when it's low in acid. This is really juicy. It's just dripping. Spraying everywhere. Dripping. Husui pear. I'll give this pear probably like a 9 on my Asian pear rating scale. Now this one is sekui. It's a little flatter. Also a richly yellow colored Asian pear. It's a little more firm. It feels like it has either more pectin or a little bit more tannins or something that's making my mouth a little bit dry, but not unpleasantly dry. Just I'm picking up either some tannins or some pectins. I'm not sure at this point. Really juicy pear. Also one of my favorite Asian pears. I think I'd give this one like an 8.5. Now we have a red barlet. These fell to the ground, so I'm hoping that it's ripe. This one has already some insect bites in it, so let's try this. Okay, so this one actually tastes better than the rescue pears that I have here at this point. I think next time I'm going to try to taste the pears first, because I think my taste buds could be thrown off by all the different apples. But this is also a pretty good pear. I'd probably give it like a 7. Yeah, probably like a 7 or maybe even 6.5. I've tasted some really good pears before, and this is not the highest on the list. So I guess that's it for today. can't do too many all in one sitting because I could throw your taste buds off. But CrimsonCrisp, this is a German Shepherd Husky mix. A really nice dog. You want an apple? No. The only dog that'll eat fruits around here is Lola, which is a golden retriever. So the best apples on this table are probably the CrimsonCrisp, Modi, and Liberty. The Fuji Aztec wasn't ripe, so kind of a bummer. I thought it was not quite ripe, so I picked it a little too soon. Well, maybe I didn't pick it too soon, but I should have let it lay for a month or so, probably at least. I was just anxious to taste it. It's not quite ripe. But already has good flavors in it. When it's fully done, I'd probably give it like an 8, I think, at this point. What I'm tasting right now, and kind of extrapolating out to where all the flavors develop, I say this could turn into a 9, but it's probably like a 7.5 right now. But still really good. These wasps want a piece of everything. Golden delicious. Also really good. So, out of what's on the table here, if I had limited space, I would definitely plant the CrimsonCrisp and the Liberty. If you're gonna have, you know, CrimsonCrisp, then there's almost no sense of also having Modi because they're so similar in taste, or the other way around, and they ripen similar time. I'd probably still prefer CrimsonCrisp over Modi. Modi does have less acid though, so if you prefer less acid, go for Modi. Oval Early Fuji is fully ripe right now. But Fuji is just not my favorite apple, but it's a really good apple for Fuji lovers, I guess. It does have a lot of sugar and good flavors, just I don't prefer them. It's not as crunchy either. And if you want an Asian pear, either one, Husui or sekui is a good one to plant. Rescue pear, I don't know, for some reason today I just didn't really like it. The other one that I picked earlier was really good. So I don't know what's up. I guess maybe it's just variable from pear to pear, or when you pick it. But yeah, there's definitely better tasting pears out there than these particular pears right here. Better pears than this pear sitting on the table. You can plant other pairs of fruit trees like pears. Plant them in pairs because they need pollination. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.